From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Monday, August 18th. It is really humid and warm outside. We started in the 70s. We're going to get up and heat up into the low 90s with lots of humidity outside. Don't have to worry about any big storms like we had over the weekend. And the good news is better weather, lower humidity is on the way later on this week. New this morning, the Marion County Coroner's Office has released the name of the teenager killed in an apartment complex in a neighborhood just north of downtown. The coroner says Xavion Whitlow was 17. The death is focusing new attention on short-term rentals. Hi, teammates Kyla Russell talked to people who live at the apartments where it happened.
I'm told the teen went by Tug. He just turned 17 2 weeks ago. Loved ones say he played basketball at George Washington High School and loved being with friends. That's who he was with early Sunday morning at a birthday party. Just before 3 a.m. Sunday, officers were called here to the grounds apartment. At first, they didn't find anyone hurt. Then a second call came in. Tug was shot dead inside a unit here on the 4th floor. IMPD says they believe a party was happening inside the unit, which was possibly a short-term rental. Neighbors confirmed to me the room was rented out overnight for a 19-year-old's birthday party. I got access to an email sent to the tenants Sunday afternoon, confirming the individual involved was the guest of a temporary visitor. They also say the person renting it out is no longer allowed at the apartment complex. But residents feel there's a deeper issue here.
Waking up to that and knowing that there's Airbnbs happening in this building, and that was not something I was made aware of.
22-year-old Jade Eilers moved into the brand new apartments just a few months ago after graduating college. She's felt safe for the most part. Until now. On the lease she signed, it strictly prohibits short-term subletting or rentals, specifically saying it does not allow units to be posted on renting websites.
And finding out that there was, and currently is, 5 or more listings on Airbnb that I looked up, I was scared, and it makes me really uncomfortable, and it makes me want to move right now.
She often notices there being different people when she goes to the gym or to the pool. Someone once told her they were just there for work. At the time, she did not think much of it, but now she's scared and she reached out to the apartment's management. They confirmed to her Sunday afternoon there is a company listing units online for short-term rentals.
You can't just say something very vaguely and expect all of us to be okay. We're not okay.
One example, tenants posted this in the apartment's halls this morning. This devastating event highlights the serious safety risks created by the dozens of Airbnb units operating inside our community. With constant turnover and little to no vetting, we're essentially living in a hotel environment, something most of us were never told when we signed our leases.
It's not going to be an isolated incident because something like this can happen again when we're not vetting the people who are in our building where we live, and it's our home.
I've reached out to Airbnb for comment but have not yet heard back. I'm Kyla Russell for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Wish TV and our parent company, Circle City Broadcasting, have launched a campaign to help tackle youth violence. It's called Youth Alternatives to Violence and Crime, or YATVAC. You can get more tools and resources to help your family and keep them safe. Just go to WishTV.com and find the YATVAC page. The police chief in Indianapolis is weighing in on the rally of a group carrying swastikas and guns downtown. Video from a viewer shows 10 people wearing masks and chanting "White Power." We are not airing it. Other video on social media shows bystanders confronting the demonstrators. Police report no violence. A post from IMPD Chief Chris Bailey says officers monitor the demonstration and that safeguarding First Amendment rights, even for those whose views we find reprehensible, is a responsibility we take seriously. Bailey goes on to write, but let me be clear, protecting those rights is not an endorsement of those beliefs. Not now, not ever. New this morning, the Marion County coroner has just revealed the name of a child who died Sunday when police say he wandered out of a Northeast Side apartment into a pond and drowned. Kamari Williams was 3 years old. It happened yesterday evening. IMPD says the boy's mother came home to her apartment near 65th and Binford Boulevard and found the door open and her child missing. Authorities say the woman and a neighbor searched and found the child in the water. A neighbor did CPR until officers arrived and took over, but the child did not survive. Police also say the child's father was home at the time. Investigators are not saying how the child managed to get out. Today is your first chance to say in person and directly to decision makers what you think of a hike in electricity bills in Indianapolis. AES wants to raise rates. The Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission will have the final say. But first, they want to hear from you. News 8's Brittany Noble is following the story and tells us there are 2 hearings set for this week.
Well, there's a meeting tonight and another one on Thursday before state regulators. Officials will soon decide whether AES's customers in Indianapolis will pay more for electricity. According to the AES Indiana website, a typical customer would see a $21 increase in their monthly bill if the state approves the rate hike. AES says it needs the additional money due to rising costs of materials and labor, infrastructure investments, tree trimming, and storm responses. So that's why the power provider has filed a regulatory rate review requesting a 13.5 rate increase for homes that use at least 1,000 kilowatt hours per month. Recently, the nonprofit Citizen Action Coalition held a town hall meeting to hear from people opposed to the rate increase. Rachel Hardy says she has lived in Indianapolis for more than 20 years and says that her power bill went from $145 a month to $234. She says she can't afford for her bill to go any higher.
My house is small, and I do everything I can, yelling at my kids to turn off all the lights, and even changing the thermostat when I thought it would help.
This week, you can attend 2 public hearings before the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission. The first meeting will be tonight in the community room at the West Perry branch of the Indianapolis Public Library. There is another meeting scheduled on Thursday that will be held at the Southeast Community Services at 901 Shelby Street. For instructions on how to share your thoughts on the potential AES hike rate, visit our website, wishtv.com. I'm Brittany Noble for Wish TV and wishtv.com.
Indiana Fever made history with a road rally, but yet another injury stunts the celebration. Sunday against the Sun, Kelsey Mitchell's fantastic season hits another high point, keying a 21-point comeback, the largest ever for the franchise. She buried 2 3-pointers in overtime to punctuate a career high of 38. Now to the bad. The second quarter, all too familiar sight this season, a Fever player in pain. A Connecticut player falls onto Sophie Cunningham's knee and she collapses to the court, screaming in pain. Cunningham did not return. Coach Stephanie White says she'll have an MRI today. Pre-game, White offered an injury update on Caitlin Clark. It's far from the specific timeline that fans have been craving, but White says she hopes to have her superstar back before the end of the regular season. There are 9 games left. First up, a home game against the Lynx on Friday. LIV Golf says that it will return to Westfield next year after what the tour calls a successful season-ending tournament at Chatham Hills over the weekend. Sebastian Munoz, who shot a 59 in the first round on Friday, sinks a birdie on the first playoff hole to win the LIV Golf in Indianapolis tournament yesterday. Take home $4 million. That's the top prize. John Rahm finished second, but Rahm takes the LIV Season Championship for the second year in a row. You'll have to look up the video on wishtv.com. Afterwards, he celebrated the way you do in Indy with a bottle of ice-cold milk and, of course, a milk bath. Switching gears to national news, President Trump is set to host Ukraine's president today. The meeting comes after Trump had Friday talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin and failed to secure a ceasefire. Julia Benbrook has the plans, including an extraordinary show of support from Volodymyr Zelensky's European peers.
While President Donald Trump says great progress was made during his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska last week, the summit ended without a deal.
There's no deal until there's a deal.
Just days later, he's hosting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House, with hopes in making significant progress toward ending the war in Ukraine.
It's very difficult because Ukraine obviously feels, harmed, and rightfully so, because they were invaded. And the Russian side, because they feel like they've got momentum in the battlefield and frankly don't care. Don't seem to care very much about how many Russian soldiers die in this endeavor.
According to a source familiar, the Monday gathering is expected to be broken into 2 parts. First, Trump and Zelensky will meet individually with their delegations. Then, in a show of force, top European leaders are expected to join a larger group session.
And we have to get a deal for the Ukrainians that allows for their self-determination, allows a protection of their sovereign borders. We have to make sure that we achieve that, and the president is intent on getting to that place.
Among the topics expected to be discussed are Russia's demands on land concessions and the contours of security guarantees for Ukraine, as well as how the U.S. will be involved.
Administration officials have tried to tamp down expectations of an immediate peace agreement announcement, but U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff has said that he believes a trilateral meeting between Trump, Zelensky, and Putin is possible soon. At the White House, Julia Benbrook for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Former Vice President and past Indiana Governor Mike Pence says now is the time for Trump to show a commitment to Ukraine. Pence made the comment Sunday on CNN's State of the Union.
I think the combination of engagement, but also making it clear to Putin that we are prepared to take actions that would literally break his economy, even while we redouble our commitment to the security of Ukraine and to working closely with our European allies is important.
Pence also called on Congress to pass more sanctions against Russia. Wish TV is your education station. Our deeper dive into artificial intelligence shows students from kindergarten to college are using the technology this school year. Experts at Purdue University tell me it seems AI is also having an impact on careers. According to this year's PwC Global Jobs Barometer, from 2019 to 2024, job numbers in AI-exposed roles are growing, but they're growing at a slower rate than jobs that are less exposed to AI. A lot of this data is still being gathered, but college students tell me they're feeling the change.
I love it. I think it's great.
Ellie Jones loves journalism. She's studying communications at Purdue University. But when it comes to AI,
it's a very good helping hand, but it's not a brain.
I'd love to help.
She tries to avoid it.
The easy thing is to use ChatGPT. The hard thing is to read the textbook, take notes during class.
ChatGPT, can you help me do coding?
Absolutely.
Purdue says AI use is up to professors, but more students are noticing its impact at school and on future careers.
Do you worry that you might not have a job one day because of AI?
It's a little scary. I think it can affect it. I think it might change it.
Are students talking about maybe changing their majors or what they might go into because of AI?
Absolutely. There's a lot of volatility in markets. Jobs are actively shifting. Industry's focusing very heavily on tech, and AI seems to be becoming a cornerstone of every company. If you want to be innovating, you have to have some form of AI.
Jamil Mansouri just graduated with ag economics and political science degrees, but now he's getting a master's in business analytics and data management because of AI.
I initially thought it was kind of a fad and going to dry out, but clearly that's not the case, and I'm going into a master's where I'm actively learning how to code and implement AI myself. So for me, it's been a very kind of fast adaptation. The whole workforce seems to be shifting around me.
And don't think of them as software.
David Nelson is helping implement Purdue's AI policy.
AI is not like that. It's kind of like the analogy I like is an alien intern.
He helps students and staff understand this alien intern.
Really smart, knows tons of things, but unless you direct it very specifically, it's going to run awry and demonstrate, wow, I do not know culture. I do not have reflective thoughts. I don't care about you.
Are you guys seeing students rethink what majors they might do because their job might not exist because AI takes it over?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a little outside of my scope and expertise. I think students are definitely concerned about it. Employers are concerned about it.
Let's test out a news anchor. I asked it to make me a video of a news anchor talking about AI taking over jobs. It sent me to another website, and after a few quick steps, within about 10 minutes, I had this video.
Artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming industries and raising concerns as automation begins replacing millions of human jobs worldwide.
Experts at Purdue say while they don't have the hard data yet on AI and bots taking jobs, what they can tell from companies is that most still want a human involved. They just want you to understand how to use AI.
Generally expecting students to be more familiar with the technology as they come out. So I don't know that that's going to remove a whole discipline, and if there's changes in the majors, they don't have access to the data, but it does seem to be on people's minds.
some students say certain industries are turning to people less. According to a 2025 report from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, college graduates with computer science and computer engineering degrees have some of the highest unemployment rates, between 6 and 7.5%. One of the lowest unemployment rates is a degree in construction services at 0.7%. Numbers show people are turning to hands-on careers.
You're going to learn a trade and learn a skill set that no one can ever take away from you.
Bob Steinecker is the business manager for the Indianapolis United Association, Local 440. We talked to him in June. He says over the past 5 years, the union's class has tripled in size, from 223 apprentices in 2020 to 668 this year.
And they earn while they learn, so they're making money while they're still learning a trade.
He tells me AI is not the main reason people are turning to trade, but more students are mentioning the uncertainty of AI taking future jobs.
And the great thing about hands-on trades is AI can't replace that.
As for students at Purdue, being irreplaceable comes down to knowing AI.
You have to learn how it's affecting your job so you can adapt to that.
It's very much if you're not working with AI and know how to use these tools, you're no longer competitive in the market.
According to the PwC Global Jobs Barometer, demand for workers with AI skills is growing in all industries, indicating that this technology is something to learn. For part 1 and part 2 of this AI in Education series, go to wishtv.com and find the education section. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on Wish TV and wishtv.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.